Happy New Year!
Welcome to the first great British Mickey Waffle of 2020. We hope you all had an amazing Christmas and thank you for joining us to celebrate the new year. On this month's Waffle, we have a look forward to what is in store at Disney parks. We'll hear from everyone about their New Year's resolutions and we have some clips from our recordings when not everything goes to plan. Joining me today are Becca, John, Claire, Lloyd, Peter, Jill and Sammy. But before we get to finding out from John about what is coming to Walt Disney World in 2020, let's hear our next carousel of questions from Jill. A favourite park?
Magic Kingdom.
Ride that you hate?
There's lots of rides I don't do because I'm a ride wimp. So I will say anything with a drop.
Most overrated snack?
Funnel cake, sorry.
Favourite transportation mode in Walt Disney World?
The one I've used most is the bus.
Favourite table service restaurants?
The Wave.
Resort you haven't stayed at but want to more than anything else on earth?
Wilderness Lodge.
Favourite car park?
I don't drive.
Typhoon, Blizzard or Volcano Bay?
Never been to any of them, but I'll say Blizzard Beach for the theming.
Galaxy's Edge or Diagon Alley?
Diagon Alley without a doubt.
Early morning or late night park visit?
Definitely early morning.
Keep the magic or backstage detail?
Give me all the backstage detail and I promise I won't spoil it for anyone else.
Favourite other podcast or vlogger about Disney?
Let's say Crispy Small.
On-site or off-site?
On-site, please.
Thank you, Jill. Some great answers to your carousel of questions. Now over to John, Jill and Claire to tell us more about what's coming to Disney parks this year.
Coming soon to a Disney park near you. Hot off the press and with a great sense of relief, there have been some specific dates put in the Disney Diary for 2020. These involve attraction openings, reopenings, and exciting new offerings for anyone planning a trip in 2020. Let's start in Walt Disney World, a place we've seen so many attractions closing in recent times. It is so good to have some of these to report. In Hollywood Studios, following on from the December opening of Rise of the Resistance in Star Wars Land, Disney have now announced the long-awaited opening date for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It's currently testing before an opening date of March the 4th, so expect some soft openings in the week or so before that too. This ride replaces the Great Movie Ride and promises to put you in a wacky and unpredictable world of a Mickey Mouse cartoon short. Speaking of which, still in the studios, the new Mickey Shorts Theatre will be open in March at Epcot, a place with so much construction underway. It's great to be able to share the news that ahead of the summer 2020 opening of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, the French Pavilion will see the introduction of a Beauty and the Beast sing-along, which will run in rotation with the Impressions de France film, which will also receive an upgrade to 4K projection. In the Canada Pavilion, the replacement for O Canada will make its debut on the same day, and that's January the 17th. Canada Far and Wide, a circle vision 360 degrees, sees a new film and new narrators, with Martin Short being replaced by Catherine O'Hara, who's famous for playing Kevin McAllister's mum in Home Alone, and Eugene Levy, famous dad in all of the American Pie films as well. On the same day, the Land Pavilion will see the showcase of Awesome Planet, a 10-minute film exploring the beauty and diversity of planet Earth. Along with the new temporary Starbucks that opened just before Christmas, it's good to see so many attractions being opened in a park that is under so much reconstruction. Disney have also announced that Disney's DuckTales World Showcase Adventure is to replace the much-loved Phineas and Ferb Agent P adventure around the World Showcase, with the promise of new adventures and using the Play Disney Parks app on your mobile phone. Finally, in Epcot, Space 220 is scheduled to open in February, a space-themed restaurant that aims to make you believe you are dining some 220 miles above the surface of the Earth. Exact menus were not available when we recorded this, but the thought of the elevator and the view from the space station towards Earth while dining sounds a really exciting one. Also, destined to open this winter is the new Regal Eagle Smokehouse in the American Adventure Pavilion. Again, exact dates and menus have been kept under lock and key so far, but opening is imminent. Finally, it's also worth a mention that the reopening of Cirque du Soleil at Disney Springs starts previews on March the 20th ahead of an official opening on April the 17th of 2020. And with the title announced as Drawn to Life, it's a rather apt nod to the Disney animation theme of this new show. Loads of new things coming to Walt Disney World, and it's great to see so much different, exciting opportunities within Epcot, at least for anybody planning a trip.
I'm intrigued to what the menu's going to be for Space 220.
I'd agree. I think there's a real big opportunity here, and I think Epcot's already got so many really good places to eat, so I think they can actually go a little bit risky on this one, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Freeze dried ice cream.
Mars.
Oh. Will they go risky? That's the thing.
Probably not.
I think they'll play it safe.
Probably be more.
Though, isn't it?
I think they will it'll be standard food, but just with a space themed name. A little bit like what they did in Galaxy's Edge, where it's interesting food, but with sort of Star Wars theming.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole gimmick here is the environment. So as you go into the restaurant, you'll get in a virtual lift, and you'll see Earth disappear below you as you go up towards this restaurant in space. And then the windows will be, we've actually seen the technology in Rise of the Resistance. It'll be things like that. So big windows out to space and seeing things going by. Yeah. And then, it'll probably just be standard fare, quite expensive food once you're in there, but you kind of pay for the experience, aren't you?
Yeah.
It sounds pretty similar to something we did in New York called Space 2012.
2112.
Mars
2112. That was
where you had a special liftoff to get you to Mars. It sounds pretty similar to that. Yeah. Only it's going to be much better.
Yeah. Serve Mars bars.
Yeah. Milky Way.
Oh, Milky Way.
Galaxy.
It should be attached to mission space. So actually getting to the restaurant, you have to fly off Earth to go to Mars, and you have to do the orange one to get there.
They won't get many customers.
Better on the way than
They'll
on the way
get me
back.
as a customer.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it on the way back.
Green all the way on the way back.
I like the sound of some of the new things coming next year. I think it'll be a good time to go by the sound of it.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Nice
The Beauty and the Beast film, sing-along film, sounds interesting. It sounds as if they're going to do a bit of a Mickey take on the idea.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think as well, and I'm really pleased that there's so much of Epcot sort of opening very quickly, because I think for many people who are going in 2020, the danger is Epcot becomes one of those places that you dip into, but you don't linger, and it's such a lovely, lovely park that it would be a shame for all of the building work to sort of really ruin people's planning, and then they just decide, well, I'll tell you what, we'll just leave that alone and we'll come back to it another time.
I'm hoping Disney have learned from Hollywood studios, because that's always had issues the past few years of being a half-day park, or if that.
Yeah, I'd agree there, Ben. I don't know. I just think it's good to see that they've turned around. Certainly, they turned around the Canada one much more quickly than I thought. We were there. I think it was at the very start of August that O Canada shut, and to see that that's reopened and on its way to something new. I think they probably will do the same in China on a very quick turnaround too this year, and I think it'd be great because they're just updating things whilst all the rest of the renovations are taking place as well.
How long are we going to wait for Guardians? Is that 21?
21.
Right, so we'll have all that construction work all year. It's from the same, isn't it?
They've really got, they've got to be catered for. They've got to have parks that are there and there's attractions that are open.
Oh, definitely.
I think some people will be very pleased that Carly River Rapids is down for its annual maintenance in January, February time. But that's always a good thing because Floridians do not do water rides when the temperatures in Florida are just that little bit cooler.
It's a test of your metal riding water rides in the winter months there.
Oh,
without poncho.
Oh, yeah. I think one of the things, for anyone British going across there, you always find that any water ride's got a really short queue during January, February and March before the heat comes back in. So, it's always a good opportunity, isn't it?
The only slight downside of January and February in Epcot is test tracks closed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going under some software maintenance. So hopefully when it comes back up in March, it will function a bit better.
I think it needs a revamp anyway.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being once Guardians is done.
I think one of the issues with Test Track, and it's in the height of summer, the sensors go sort of AWOL because it gets too hot. There's other times of the year it shuts the minute that there's rain, and I agree with you, Ben. I think it could do with a little bit of a tinker, and like you said, Lloyd, I think they could do with just trying to reimagine what the whole of Test Track could actually involve.
Yeah, I think something's going to happen after Guardians is open.
Yeah.
There was something a few months ago that when they spoke about Test Track, that it's part of the same pavilion or sort of area that is going to be Guardians.
Yeah.
So I don't think Test Track fits into the same theming as what Guardians does.
Yeah, I think the other danger as well, and again, this is, it's both Test Track and Soaring are basically the sole reasons why a lot of people would actually go to Epcot at the moment. So they need to have reopened an awful lot of the park before they even thought of closing anything like that.
It brought back some hard memories today when you were talking about this, John. I still can't believe the Great Movie Ride is gone. John's sporting the T-shirt.
I've got the T-shirt. The T-shirt up there. Yeah, it is. It's, I don't know.
I can't get excited about a sort of non-movie based ride in Hollywood Studios.
Lloyd, have you seen any of the new shorts, the Mickey shorts?
Only little glances what I've seen in little vids on YouTube, but not in their entirety.
See if you can watch them because they're actually really good. And it's given us a bit more, because when I first heard that the Great Movie Ride was changing, I thought, this doesn't seem right. It's nice that Mickey is going to have his own ride. I think it's sort of long overdue, but I wasn't sure at first whether it was going to be what I wanted. But I think it's going to do really well.
The technology looks quite good.
Yeah, it does. And
it's 2.5D, isn't it?
Yeah.
I admit as well, and I think this is, I'm trying very, very carefully to avoid harking back to the past, and because it's things that historically, have been things that have been so wonderful, but things do need to change, and the Great Movie Ride did need to have a massive, massive update, because some of the films that they were trying to, they're trying to show you, having to explain to your own children of what that film was, because as a family you don't watch even The Wizard of Oz anymore. So I think something new and something fresh. I have seen a couple of trailers from Disney that they did as part of their Christmas film that was available in the States, where they took you a little bit behind the scenes, but they never showed you really anything in particular. So I think we've just got to keep our eyes peeled and see what actually is going to happen there
I think it's a bit like Rise of the Resistance, that they've kept so much under wraps that no one knew much about. That maybe not the same sort of level, but I think Disney have been very secretive.
Yeah,
previously they've been quite open to sort of promoting everything. I think a lot of it we're going to leave it to a week or two before.
Yeah, my only hope is that they've not just used the same ride vehicles and then just put a train at the front and then drag you into different. I really, really hope they've not done that.
But they're very wide, weren't they? Those vehicles.
Yeah, they were, Lloyd.
So it'd be, I think if you meant to feel as if you're on this runaway railroad, then I think they'd lose it a bit if they keep the same ones.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. But it's not beyond them.
Hoping for something really special because I know they've got the technology to do it.
Was there anything else meaty that you dropped in your review there, John? I'm trying to think what other bits there were.
There
isn't. Is there something we're missing?
It's just things that are new. It's just things that are new. Apart from obviously Phineas and Ferb disappearing.
DuckTales.
I actually think that's quite a good thing, though. I mean, I can't imagine a lot of kids these days knowing who Phineas and Ferb are.
Yeah.
And DuckTales has had a revive.
Sorry, Millie watches it every day.
Really? But DuckTales has had a revive recently. Plus, people our age will remember the original. So they're the people that are parents now. That are therefore getting parents interested in doing it as well as the kids.
The only downside to DuckTales is that once you hear that theme tune once, it's stuck in your head all day.
Jane.
I remember when I can't remember what year it was. It was when Game Boys were just released. Going over to Florida, and my dad bought me a Game Boy over there because they were sort of half the price, and he got me the DuckTales little game for it. And that theme tune, just in 8-bit music, was crazy, and just doing everyone's head in the car as we drove from Orlando to Key West, just on repeat. Do you know what Game Boy is, Ben?
Yes.
We had.
I used to have one.
So did I.
But it was a colour one.
No.
The original.
One wasn't the original.
Wow.
It was bright yellow, mine.
Does anyone ever follow? Sorry, this is slightly off topic, but it's something I've been watching the past couple of days. Anyone ever watched the documentary King of Kong?
Wow.
About Donkey Kong arcade world record. It was released about 10 years ago.
Oh no!
It's a really It sounds a bit rubbish, but it's a really good documentary. But the guy, the protagonist in the documentary, is a guy called Billy Mitchell, and he was sort of the golden boy of arcades back in the 80s. Yeah. And he's had all his records debunked and withdrawn now. But if no one knows about it, it won't mean anything to you. But there's little bits on YouTube at the moment. But if you get the chance, it's even if you're not bothered about video games, it's a really interesting documentary called King of Kong.
King of Kong.
Yeah. Better than that awful film where the aliens come back and invade, and they're all like 70s games.
Oh yeah,
Pixels.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That
was awful. In times better. King of Kong. It's about just a fella who's never really got on anywhere in life, and he interviews his family saying, he just feels like he hasn't achieved anything. And I think he's a school teacher, and he's a nice guy and he's doing well, but he's always felt like the underdog. And he thinks, you know what, I'm going to make a name for myself. And he decides to beat the world record of Donkey Kong on this, and buys an old arcade machine. It's just his journey through it. And it's a really lovely story because the guy in question is he's just really sweet, and he keeps on having these little blips on the way along. I won't tell you the ending either, but after this, it's got this whole. It was 10 years ago. In these 10 years, so many things have happened as well.
Does anyone die at the end?
I don't want to give it away.
Oh,
you'll have to. But honestly, you might think I'm talking rubbish.
If you get a chance, I'll have a look at that.
Get a chance, watch it. It's really, really good documentary.
Cool, love it. So, from Walt Disney World, we're going to head across to Tokyo. Jill, take it away.
Well, in Tokyo Disneyland, it's going to be a really fun spring because April is going to see the opening of the new Fantasyland. The upcoming area will include the Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast attraction. And there is some stuff on YouTube that you really need to see because the animatronics of that look absolutely amazing. It's a trackless ride. It's similar sort of technology to Ratatouille, but you are kind of weaving in and out of the story and the animatronics are happening all around you, and it looks as if it's going to be amazing. They're also going to have Gaston's Fountain, and they're going to have Maurice's Cottage, restaurants and shops. There's also going to be a Fantasyland Forest Theatre, and also on a completely different theme, there is going to be a Baymax themed ride, which I think is the first ride themed to Baymax in any Disney park. It's called the Happy Ride. I wouldn't want to go on the sad ride. Basically, it looks like it's similar to Alien Swirling Saucers or Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. It's that kind of ride. So that looks like something that's a bit of fun.
Apparently, on the Beauty and the Beast ride, your cars dance in the ballroom and dance around Belle and the Beast.
Oh, that sounds
which
good.
sounds fun.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the animatronics that they've been using, and it looks amazing.
I'm glad Baymax and Big Hero 6 are getting a bit of a look in somewhere.
Mm.
I like Big Hero.
It's an amazing film.
Great film, yeah.
They are actually going to have a whole season themed to Baymax in October, November, I think. So he's going to get a lot of stuff happening at Tokyo.
Yeah, the Happy Ride with Baymax. It's going to looks very similar to Alien Swirling Saucers.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Of course, if you are planning to go to Tokyo this year, don't go when the Olympics are on. That said, when the Olympics were in London, London itself was actually really quiet.
Yeah.
It was dead.
Yeah.
Maybe do go.
I don't know.
I had a wonderful commute
Toss a coin
to work when the Olympics were on because everybody believed the hype and stayed away from the tube. So the tube was really, really quiet.
So you never know. But they are recommending you not to go during the Olympics times. This year is going to be a good time to go because the Olympics are going to mean that the parks are going to be at their best. They're sprucing them up. They're making them look really good. And they'll be ready for lots of people. So it could be a good year to go.
Do you think it'll be more expensive during the Olympics than other times of the year?
I doubt it. I don't think they would do that.
Hotel prices might go up a bit.
Yes.
Yes. And flights.
Yeah.
So overall, it might be a bit more expensive. I don't know how they do their ticket system, if they do it like Disney World and a different price depending on the season, or whether it's a flat rate no matter the time of year.
They do their tickets at a different price for different seasons. But the ticketing idea is different. You can only really buy a maximum of 4 days. And I personally think the Disney hotels will put the prices up, but what they call the on-site hotels, which are the equivalent of the Swan and Dolphin, I don't know whether they will put their prices up or not. So,
So what you're saying is it may or may not be the best time to go.
We will have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Well, we're hoping to go in November, so it should all have settled down by then.
I think as well, though, I think for anybody trying to plan a trip there, it's vital that you actually know this information before you even start, thinking about exactly where your flights are coming from, what your hotels are looking for, because you'll suddenly find that if there is a massive spike just purely through demand, that if you left it until maybe 2 weeks after the Olympics, you could actually pick up some real bargains.
Yeah, that's true.
And of course, there are lots of works at the moment at Tokyo as well because they're expanding Tokyo Disney Sea with 2 new lands, a Frozen Land and a Peter Pan Land. So if you are going to go this year, be prepared for some green walls.
That's good advice. So,
Sounds
Claire,
like I was going to say, it sounds like a perfect segue into DLP.
yeah. Go on, Claire. Tell us about DLP.
Okay, so carrying on that theme, with a substantial part of Disney Studios remaining closed for 2020, and by that I mean most of the left side of the park, you might think that Disneyland Paris is the place to avoid this year. However, there are a few exciting things planned to happen, and some new and some tried and tested from previously. First of all, the fantastic new Frozen celebration starts on the 11th of January. In 2020, this replaces the much-loved Pirates and Princesses season, which is the season with the most catchy tune of all. But this year we've got Frozen instead, and there are new parades, meet and greets with Frozen cast, different merchandise, and lots of treats. I'm sure there's a cupcake in there somewhere. It looks like a lot of fun, and it's perfectly timed after the release of Frozen 2. On selected dates in January, there are even fireworks and celebrations on Lake Disney, which is the lake behind the village near the hotels, which showcase some of the highlights of the Frozen films. Other seasons this year include the return of the Marvel season of superheroes, Star Wars Legends of the Force, and the Electroland evening for the 4th of July. And across the summer, we've got the Lion King and Jungle Book season returning. Disneyland Paris Pride Night on the 6th of June will be held in the Disneyland Park for the first time, and it's one of the few separated ticketed events across the year. Should be lots of fun and a very colourful evening. The most exciting thing this year is the hotly anticipated reopening of the Hotel New York in its new Marvel costume as the Art of Marvel Hotel, with bookings available from the 15th of June. The clean, fresh lines, suites that sleep up to 6, and newly planned restaurants and lounges with meet and greets with several Marvel characters. This looks like an amazing hotel, even if you aren't a massive Marvel fan.
I don't know about fireworks on Lake Disney.
It's only 3. Do you know what? It's only 3 dates in January, but it does look quite good. They've done them they're doing them on New Year. They've done them at Christmas,
and they've done them for Bonfire Night as well in the past. But is it not going to get really crowded around Lake Disney?
I guess it's a massive lake, isn't it? I think that's the reason that they recently put up the barriers at the top of the steps, because obviously previously Lake Disney was fairly unrestricted, and you could just walk down the steps and straight into the water if you felt like it. I wouldn't suggest it. But recently, certainly when I was there in October, they had put up new barriers all around the edges, which my guess was why they've made it safe so that they can do these fireworks shows. It's good though. I think that's the plan going forwards when they've built the new lake behind Disney Studios Park.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they were testing it for future entertainment, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right, Becca. I think they're just sort of seeing what the appetite is like. And over New Year, the Disneyland Park was closed from 6:30 unless you purchased a special New Year's Eve ticket. So to compensate for that, they left the Disney Studios Park open till after midnight, and then put fireworks on the lake at the back of Disney Village.
And did they not? What about people in the hotels? I presume they're not going to mind. Kids asleep for 6 o'clock in the evening.
Might get a good view.
Well, yeah, as opposed to Coy Lodge and Newport Bay, you'd have great view.
Yeah.
There is something in Disneyland Paris about the fireworks being quiet fireworks. I don't know if anyone's realised that when they're there, that they're not noisy fireworks, and that's something around the agricultural land that sits around Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
So hopefully not disturbing people too much then.
No.
What'll be interesting is whether they will get people who don't have tickets just coming in just to watch the fireworks. Because theoretically, there's nothing to stop you. You don't have to be staying at one of the hotels.
No, that's true.
No, I think you're right, Jill, and I think that's possibly why they're doing it there, so that actually all the locals that come and stay at, they park at the multi-storey car park, might use a cinema or something like that. A little bit of extra fun for them, attract a few people to spend some money in Disney Village.
Yeah, it's good PR with the locals as well, though, isn't it?
Dinner and fireworks.
Yeah, I think you're right, John. I think, unfortunately, Lake Disney is kind of a bit of a white elephant sat there. It's not used. It used to have There's swan boats on it and pedalows and things like that, and it doesn't have anything that you get the odd duck now and again. But other than that, it's just this expanse of water. It looks beautiful when it freezes in the winter, but other than that, it's just a bit of an obstacle to walk around.
Mm. And the Marvel Hotel does look great. Hotel New York, from when I've seen, does look cool.
Yeah, it really looks incredible. Looking at things like the Spider-Man suite, the Avengers suite, they just look amazing.
Yeah.
And some of them have got 2 double beds and 2 sofa beds, and there's so much space in the suites. And when you look at the prices, they are expensive. But then if you're looking at that compared to 2 rooms in a different hotel, it may work out more cost effective.
I think you said that as well, Claire. I think if you're a family of 4 or more, being able to actually do that is going to be a real big difference, isn't it? It really cuts across that having to book 2 bedrooms and stuff. So they've obviously thought about this really long and hard in the actual design of the hotel.
Yeah, and I would expect those suites to be booked up pretty much solidly. Disneyland Paris is strange. There aren't that many resorts that the rooms hold more than 2 beds. Yeah. So if you've got children of different ages or you've got 3 kids, Santa Fe has got some family suites, and then it's Newport Bay or Disneyland Hotel. So you're fairly limited in terms of the options, unless you've got a car and you can stay at Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
It was a shame in some ways that they changed the arrangements in Cheyenne, where you used to have the 2 bunk beds for the kids, and then you had a big double bed. But Cheyenne has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably for the better. The theming, the Toy Story theming, looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's fantastic. Yes,
it is really good theming.
And aren't they now doing character meets at Cheyenne? Is it Woody
They are. They put Woody and Jessie in there, every day, which is great.
That's good.
And I think the meet and greets at the Marvel Hotel, certainly Spider-Man, and I believe they're looking at Thor and possibly Black Panther as well.
Do you have to be staying at the hotel to be able to go to the meet and greets, though?
Well, that's a bit of a contentious topic, I think, Becca. I would suggest that they are meet and greets that are deliberately reserved and identified for hotel guests. However, I would suggest if you happen to be walking past,
pop in and have a look.
No one's going to check.
That was one of the problems when they used to have the Fab 5 meets, though, wasn't it? Because people just came from the local area just to meet the characters in the hotels.
Yeah, I think it happens all the time, to be honest with you. Certainly when I've been there, the queues to meet the characters at breakfast time is, they're really big.
Yeah.
I could imagine them just using the Lineberty app.
I was wondering.
Oh, please no. Do you know what? I love Disneyland Paris, but I hate the Lineberty app so much.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they'd do more of a dedicated room where you have to show your hotel card key or something to be able to enter.
I think for the Marvel characters, they probably will. I think it will be in a separate area, and it will be quite closely controlled.
Yeah. I could just imagine queues if you were just able to just walk past and everyone just sort of queuing up outside.
Yeah.
Be mad.
Yeah, especially during the summer months.
I do want to stay there at some point, though.
Do you think they will ever do a Marvel character buffet on a regular basis?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to eat my breakfast with all that lycra nearby. might put me off my food. It's a bit of a strange one because I don't suppose I can't imagine Marvel characters really fitting into a character dining.
They do it at Universal in Orlando.
It's different with princesses. Yeah.
They do it at Universal in Orlando.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I don't know. In my head, I don't know if it really works, but I bet there would be a huge appetite for it, though.
Oh yeah,
lots of people would want to book that.
I think it's a bit different with the Universal because it's based on the comic books rather than the MCU.
Yeah.
So if you would have to have really good kind of Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Pratt and Chris Evans lookalikes to really
Yeah.
So if we're talking about that level of meet and greet, I might be in for that. If it was Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, and Tom, I could be persuaded.
Star-Lord didn't look that like him
in DLP.
Yeah.
No, neither did Thor.
He didn't
really
look like him at all. No.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it'd be quite fun.
Yeah.
Not sure it's for me though. But I think the Art of Marvel Hotel is going to be incredible, and every time I go past it, there's a little bit more to the outside facade that's been changed, and a slight different colour, and I think when they start doing the unveiling at probably the end of May, beginning of June, it's going to be quite special.
Do you think Sammy's just going to book the Spy Suite?
Yeah, I think it's. I think she just move in.
She's probably booked it. That's probably why no one else can book it.
Maybe so. Yeah, maybe so.
Is the Star Wars season the last one? I've heard that it's going to be the last one this year.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I can see that the perhaps the demand for Star Wars might drop after now the new film's out. It may well be that it drops off a little bit. Yeah. But I mean, Pirates and Princesses has been massive for the last 2 years, and then this year it's not there, and I think everyone's a little bit disappointed because it was so much fun.
Frozen one does look really good,
and it makes more sense to have it in the winter than in the middle of summer.
Yeah,
Frozen. Yeah,
Frozen
in summer.
Thank you.
Maybe there might be an appearance by Samantha.
Yes, definitely. What's French for Samantha?
So your DLP's having a lot done to it, and it's about time, really, as we've often said. So do we think that the cost of the upgrades is directly linked to the big price hike in the hotels?
The thing is, though, the hotels have gone up in price, but they're also doing massive discounts on things like park tickets and dining plans. So if you look at booking from the 2nd of June, if you look at booking from the 2nd of April, you can get free half board, or if you stay in the Disneyland Hotel, free full board. And that's premium full board. Right, that's a massive saving. So whilst the hotel prices have gone up, actually the deals that are available seem to be more plentiful. So I think it's 6 or 1 and 2 3s, to be honest with you, Peter. You have to pick your time, though. It's not consistent. Yeah.
Oh, I love DLP. It's fantastic, but that is a price hike. Yes.
And I think that I expect the annual passes to shoot up again this year.
And we've only just bought one this year.
Yeah. I mean, we stayed off site last time because that fitted our budget, and I think our next trip will probably be off site as well. But there are benefits to that. I mean, we discovered quite a few new to us nice restaurants that didn't cost the same as Disney money. So there are good things to staying off site.
Speaking of restaurants, Waltz remains closed. So they're still refurbing Waltz, which is undoubtedly the best restaurant in all of Disneyland Paris.
That's a shame.
I don't know. California Grill has its charms.
I must admit, there is something about Waltz, Claire, isn't there? The whole dining experience and some of the memorabilia on the walls and the pictures and a beautiful place to go and eat.
It really is. I think even sitting downstairs waiting to go up with the copy of the lift from Club 33 and the piano and all of that stuff, it's just amazing.
Yeah,
it is.
And I'm sad not to even be able to go in and sit down in there at the moment, which is
absolutely.
I'm really hoping they open again soon.
Yeah,
I love Waltz, but they always put us as a couple in the Main Street area. We very rarely got to be in any of the other areas at all. We always got put in Main Street.
Okay.
Whereas we'd like to be in some of the rooms because all the rooms are themed to different areas of the park, the different lands, and we've really only sat in one of them. So we would love to do the different rooms, but every time we've asked, there's nothing available. And yes, it's nice to be able to sit and look out over Main Street, but there's only so many times you can do that.
And it also gets really hot in that room.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it does.
Every time I've been, I suppose every time I've gone in, it's winter. Sort of like stripping off 15 layers to be able to sit down.
Cool.
So yeah, Disneyland Paris looks like it's going to do a few exciting things next year. With the half the park closed, it means that there's other stuff to see.
So no, most Disney parks have got some form of construction going on with California, with the new Marvel area. Shanghai's got Zootopia. Disney have announced recently with the walls have gone up and that's all starting to be built.
I don't know when the redone castle opens in Hong Kong.
Mm.
That must be soon if it's not opened already. I'll have to look that up.
Mm.
But it needed it. Hong Kong's castle is tiny. Was tiny. Tiny.
Saying that most of them are tiny compared to Shanghai.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember once we were in DLP and we met two CMs from Anaheim, and they were walking around and just marvelling at the castle and going, "It's so big!"
But DLP's castle is the most beautiful.
Yeah.
It is.
The structure of it is stunning.
And it really does look like it's growing out of the hillside, which is what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
The posts inside that look like trees and it's beautiful.
It is. It's meant to look like Mont Saint Michel. So.
Thank you, everyone. 2020 sounds like it's going to be yet another amazing year for all the Disney parks. Don't forget that in March 2020, Disney Plus will be available in the UK and many other parts of Europe. Now it's time to hear from everyone with their resolutions for 2020.
Well, our New Year's resolution for this year is that we resolve to go to a new Disney park. Not only that, a new continent, because we are planning to go to Tokyo. This year is our 25th wedding anniversary, and so we decided we wanted to do something special and somewhere we hadn't been before, and of course Disney had to be involved. So the plan is to go and visit Tokyo and spend a couple of days at Tokyo Disney in November. We're just hoping that, flights don't come out too expensive, because we really want to do a direct flight if we can, because it's a long old journey.
But apparently you can get good prices in January from Heathrow.
Yeah, we're looking.
We're looking at that.
Sounds good.
My resolution this year is to run the 5K on Castaway Quay.
Ooh.
Go there for our cruise. Only problem is I've never done any running before in my life, so I'm going to need to take up running first.
Yes.
Got a few months though. I'll get there. It's just getting the motivation in the cold, dreary weather to actually start running.
Well, my New Year's resolution is to go on a ride that goes upside down. So, not done anything like it yet. So, whether it be Hyperspace Mountain, Rock and Roller Coaster, one of those, or Indiana Jones, one of those is on my list.
Right, okay.
Can't believe you've never been upside down.
Indiana Jones in Disneyland Paris is a good one to start on.
Yeah.
The loop is over before you know it.
Yeah, I think that's where we'll start.
Yeah.
I will start.
You know I'm going to be dragged along with you, just like you're going to be dragged along with me to the 5K.
That is true. I'll do the 5K. Sounds safer than mine.
Don't know about that.
I dragged Brody on his first roller coaster on Friday at Drayton Manor.
Oh, brilliant!
Bless him. And he didn't know what to expect, and there was a bit where my stomach went, so his must have gone as well. And his face was exactly the same as the face he makes when he's crying.
Oh.
Because we were both cheering all the way around, he carried on cheering and going, "Whoa, yeah!" But his face was just crying. There were tears coming out of his eyes. Bless him. But he loved it. He was so brave.
Oh, super.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, bless him.
Well, Lloyd,
Right.
what's
Right. Okay. My New Year's resolution is to play a bit more golf, and I'm going to try and convince our very own John to take a secret trip to Florida to play some golf.
that sounds like.
And we could break his ban of not going to Disney, and we could maybe able to sneak off and do Rise of the Resistance in between.
That'd be.
Yeah, in green times.
Okay, so does that mean that my resolution would just have to be that I'm not going to Disney? Honest, I'm going to play golf.
Yep, that's all you have to do.
Technically, you could just do mini golf.
Oh no, you've got to go play. Do the proper stuff.
See what you. I thought you were trying to do a bit of a pun there.
Yes.
And the other Disney resolution I have is I don't think I'll be going next year, but I resolved to consider Disneyland Paris for a trip. You've slowly brought me round. So I'm going
to the French side. We've got.
I'm going to look into possibly going over 2021, maybe start the year there. So I'll do a little bit of research next year. Does anybody know anyone who can give me some hints and tips?
I don't know. Maybe.
Not sure.
There's a podcast somewhere, isn't there, Lloyd?
I've never listened to it. I don't know.
You could subscribe to.
So they're mine.
Right, I'll do mine as well. My resolution for 2020 is, the first one is to finish the 2019 trip report.
Yay!
Yeah. I think so many of the readers of that will actually take, at least the first few months of the new year. But what I am going to do in 2020 is actually get myself up to speed with some of you guys, Sammy in particular, and actually get myself a little bit social media savvy. So I'm get myself properly on Twitter, and then, might even have a look at that Instagram thing.
You get your kids to explain how to do it all.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm not on Instagram either.
Yeah,
I don't post on Twitter.
It's something I've never done before because of work and stuff like that. And actually now I can actually go and explore it and see. But I've never tweeted, even though I've got a Twitter account. So that's one to do.
Oh, cool.
My New Year's resolution for 2020 is to continue to do what I can for the environment, because we only have one planet and we all know that it's not going very well. But yeah, I just want to be more mindful of what I'm using, what I'm doing, make sure I'm recycling more, and I encourage all you guys to do the same.
My New Year's resolution for 2020 is to do something we've never done. And that's usually much to the disgust of my fellow wafflers. This year, when we go to Walt Disney World in late summer, we will go and see Fantasmic, because I've never ever seen it, and apparently, as everyone tells me, it's the best.
Thank you everyone for sharing your resolutions for this year. Would love to hear some of yours too. If you have any trips planned or would like a shout out on the show for a birthday or any other special occasion, please send them in to us at themickeywaffle@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all the usual social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube, at GBMickeyWaffle. For the final part of the show, we've put together some of our outtakes and bloopers. Here is a behind the scenes look at what can go wrong when we record.
Happy birthday, Andrew!
That was better.
I don't think it was.
Is it not?
No.
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was magic.
Okay, let's try again. 3, 2.
Sorry, Coke.
That's how the program is being. Yes. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I started with what else?
It will do.
It's 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday, Andrew. Oh my
They
God.
can find someone on the internet saying happy birthday and then just drop it in. Just find some sound like saying happy birthday. Very enthusiastic.
I'll get
Here's
Siri.
one of them. One of them's usable.
I'll get Siri to say it. It'll be fine. Okay, let's try it one more time. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Brad.
You went too quick then, Ben.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday.
Someone just asked me that whole thing. That's my bid.
I think we'll leave that. We'll just go to the next one.
Hey Siri, say happy birthday.
One of those is due before it's like.
That may be beyond my abilities at the moment.
Say happy birthday. Say happy birthday.
All in this together.
Never true words.
Maybe beyond my abilities at the moment.
It's beyond our capability. We're not good.
Yeah,
How
Siri
very
can't do it.
Even we can't do it.
I can hear that dragging noise again.
It's fun now.
Ooh.
Breathing.
Will stop.
How dare you breathe? No breathing.
No breathing
allowed.
allowed.
So I'm wondering if it is worth
Jinx.
muting our microphone
Jinx.
when we're not speaking.
Yeah, maybe.
But apparently there's an option on Skype to turn subtitles on.
Ooh.
Actual.
I don't know.
We need that for
don't know
Sam,
if
so
it
that will
works.
help.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
What?
it's coming up. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's coming up on our screen that we've got what everyone's saying. It's appearing.
Right.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Right,
it's
where
live.
did you do this? I need to do this.
Turn on subtitles.
Turn subtitles on.
Where is it? What? This is hysterical.
Mine still says turning subtitles on. It's not giving me subtitles yet.
It's a little while, but
Yours is just getting translated.
Sam, it's just not keeping up with you.
It's what?
There you go. Just wait. It'll pop up in a sec.
What is it saying? Is it saying I'm saying something heavy random? Stop it! I'm not in on the joke, man.
Back subtitles.
I can't cope with this.
These subtitles are.
Did you swear, Ben?
Okay. Slanford Pushkin goes.
Oh my god, I'm turning these off. These are bad. Right,
I can't cope with that. I'm gonna have to turn them off.
they're going off.
oh, that's funny.
Apparently, someone says the girl's going to cook some push. What is that?
It's the fact that every time you say what, Sam, it spells it W-A-T.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
You what? You what?
That's brilliant.
It's not picking mine up.
Say again.
And Millie.
Oh.
You're breaking up there. Say again.
Oh no, it's not. No, it's not Dan actually.
Right. So.
Just.
Claire, you keep breaking up.
Yeah, Claire, you keep breaking up.
Well, I can sort of see the gap in between.
You're breaking up really badly now.
It is green.
Can you go into the garden? Get a signal.
You're going in slow motion.
Lloyd is just saying hello this time.
This could be.
Someone call an ambulance.
Do you know the episode of Love Island you wanted to watch?
Yeah.
You can
I don't think I'm gonna make it.
We've lost Claire.
Claire, you're dying.
You're frozen.
Claire.
Let her go.
Hang on, let me see.
Oh,
I'm
move.
gonna.
She's
Is
on
that
the move.
better? Is that
Yeah.
better?
Yeah.
Back for now, yeah.
Look forward to guiding you around the virtual points of interest we'll be discussing today. With me today on our VIP tour of all things Disney the Rated. Okay, I'll do that bit again. With me today on our VIP tour of all things Disney related are some other people who really love to waffle. So let's find out who they are.
Hi, I'm Lloyd, and I'm half of Emma and Lloyd on the dib.
Thanks,
Right,
everyone.
who thinks-
Great.
That was
Ben.
me. Sorry.
Ben.
You know what's going to happen. Let me just find Do Not Disturb on here somewhere.
What was that? Just do mine. I'll just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Lloyd. Did someone cough then?
Sorry.
You could tell long time not watching Love Island, can't you? It's just...
Okay.
And compose. Hi, I'm Lloyd.
Who was that?
3,
Claire.
3, 2. Right. Hold your breath, Claire. Hi, I'm Lloyd. I am half of Emma and Lloyd on the dib.
Claire.
It's John.
Where's John?
I'm an innocent party here. It's not-
I didn't even realise John was laughing.
Yeah.
I'm just
Just his little shoulders going.
I'm seriously not getting
Right. I'm good.
It's gonna be one of those days.
Right. Hi, I'm Lloyd. I'm half of Emma and Lloyd off the dib.
We'll be back next month with some more of our waffling, and there's only one thing left to say. Waffle on.